sustainability over the hype. That's it. Recently, I kind of start to cope with the ideas and reflect to my own back to my own experience, and it start to show because the company doesn't need to always follow the latest trends. They say quantum AI, that there used to be crypto, Web3, or used to be some other buzzwords, right? Or technologies. However, even the best opportunity actually lied in sometimes a very solid, profitable, scalable, sustainable business model by selling toilet paper, by selling other commodity as well. That's why.
Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining us for Features with Hello Advisor. This is a special content series where we invite founders and individuals that work in the startup world to share their stories and to hear from their experiences. Now, today we are joined by Min-Yi Shih, and Min-Yi is a distinguished technologist, seasoned business executive, strategic investor, and accomplished business advisor with experience across multiple roles and organizations, which we just can't wait to hear more about. So yeah, welcome, Min-Yi. Thank you for joining us.
No, it's honored. It's a fun to be here. And just to share my point of view, and and hopefully there's a way to exchange. Yeah.
hmm I'm sure there will be. And we got a bunch of awesome questions lined up, so we can gather everything we can from your experience. So yeah, to start us off, I kind of listed a couple of the roles and positions that you've held in your past lives, and you have this very extensive background in technology and specifically in biosciences. But you're also very involved now in the startup world. So can you just walk us through your professional journey to where you are today?
All right. It's you want a long answer? You want a short answer,
Give me
right?
the best
Uh,
answer you got. Tell
it's
us who
a
you
quite
are.
a yeah. It is a long and I will say nonlinear journey. There's many times I feel so fortunate and blessed that I got help. And I was given the opportunity, and I was be able to do different things. I do started with a strong technical foundation. My major was in physics and electrical engineering. I got my degree in final started in physics and finished in the electrical engineer.
hmm
During this time, work on both organic and inorganic material because it was in the physics there was a lot to do with the material. And then along the time, I also got exposure to a wide range of different technologies such as photonics and as well as nanotechnologies. And those early stage AI, early stage quantum technologies that I have some exposure as well. So I was fortunate enough to be able to tap in a different technology area and then slowly move on to the corporate world. And experience have a few C-suite positions and in the leadership roles in the company. And along the line, decide to pivot my career a little bit and just went to UCLA Anderson, get my MBA along the time as well. As you can hear so far, nothing to do with bioscience. I'm not going to claim I'm a bioscience
hmm
expert in this area. However, I probably can come across, and when I recently yet again pivot to more investment side of the business, working with entrepreneur and the startups, I can step in as work at the intersection of, let's say, technologies, business, and operations.
hmm
And so I often use the bioscience startup, not necessarily from the hardcore bioscience technology point of view, but how to leverage and how to utilize and how to realize those technology from a vision all the way carried to the product and the startup business.
hmm
And during this time, I also have some experience during my career. Have some experience on the grant application, so I also help startup in that aspect as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that walkthrough. it's cool to hear some of your technical background and how that filters into what you're working in today, especially making those connections between different sectors. But yeah, so kind of looking at the different experiences that you've had, different industries that you've been working in or have even dabbled in with your work in startups. What are some of the takeaways that you've had from these different roles, from these different past experiences? That sort of factor into your multidisciplinary approach to growth and strategy and innovation.
Well, how much time you have?
How much time do you need?
Right? No, no, it's a very short time. That's why I'm afraid that I cannot offer too much, and
Hey, it's
you
never
have
too much. We're all ears
a
here.
window. Well, I think there's always a mindset is just stay curious.
Mm,
I think I'm still learning, and every day that I can name a few things I learn, few things every day. It's from all the individual that people that I interface with, or from the media. Right, right now it's a multimedia, omni-channel kind of world right now, and
mm-hmm,
there's information overload even. So I will stay curious, and because I don't know what I don't know, and I later in the life I figure out that well that's actually okay. It's not important. I need to know everything, but if I stay curious and continue to seeking for knowledge, there will be a fun journey.
mm-hmm,
Another things that I will say that build a team, build a strong team, and build a strong network. Surround yourself with those very capable, smart, hardworking, knowledgeable person, and they all are all my teachers.
mm-hmm,
So this is just every day is a brand new day per se.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love how positive that is. And yeah, you mentioned fun as an important aspect of learning and taking on that sort of mindset. How important is it to you that you're enjoying what you're doing? Do you enjoy it all the time, or, if you ever hit a wall, how do you sort of, like get around that?
Okay, and it's life is too short. Having fun and
Mhm,
if it's a blast if you can work on something you actually enjoy
mhm,
and can get kind of motivated to wake up in the morning and go around and then do whatever you want to do.
mhm,
So yeah, fun, enjoy is actually a simple yet very difficult to achieve. So
mhm,
I'm focused on positive.
mhm,
And that's why I'm in the startup ecosystem, entrepreneur ecosystem, because guess what? If you are not a mystic, you are in the wrong ecosystem and wrong business in
mhm,
the startup world. Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, I gotcha. Totally, totally agree with that. So yeah, so let's talk about your work in the startup world then a little bit. And more specifically in your recent years, you've transitioned from the corporate world to investing in that sort of space. So can you tell us what motivated that shift and why you chose investing as an entrance
Mm,
into the startup world?
yeah. Can I blame it on the COVID? Because we can blame everything on COVID,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Well, there are lots of people during the COVID time, in quarantine, you start to think about what I'm really doing is
Hmm.
I'm really bringing value to the world, right? And that is it's I think was a major point where actually I'm getting my degree from UCLA in the business as well. So I end up with reflecting, and then I want to do something that get beyond just grow my own company, investment or investing in the startup or get involved in entrepreneur actually give me the opportunity to help multiple companies success while maintain certain stability in my own life, and then why not? And so I find that is the joy and the high motivation working with very passionate founders, um, and then all the supportive ecosystem that this is just fun again, very fulfilling, and then be able to kind of first-handed working in the game-changing innovations and help them to realize, bring to the real world and make a real business case. That I'm truly enjoy being part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, why not? That's a
Yeah.
question that doesn't get asked enough, honestly.
Yeah.
But
So it's a COVID's fault
oh yeah,
for the
yeah,
end. Yeah.
totally. But also, your total openness to like trying new things, I feel like, also deserves some credit. Like I said, like why not, when the door is open and when the world is wide open, yeah, why not? So
Hmm.
I really love that mindset. I'm happy it really took you somewhere that you found a lot of enjoyment and fulfillment from. So yeah, kind of speaking deeper on those experiences, your role as an investor, you're an angel investor and you do a little bit of VC as well. But more specifically on the angel investor sides of things, how do you know if a venture is scalable or has high potential for growth, especially at that seed or pre-seed stage? Because it's so early in the company's development, right? So what are some of those key traits or characteristics that you're looking out for when choosing which companies to work with?
Nowadays, I have a tool, a really useful tool I use.
Mm-hmm.
One is a crystal ball I have in my office, and then the other is AI that I use it every day. So, I wish there's a crystal ball that I could actually look into it
Yeah, you
and
can't
find
find
out.
those very easily these
No,
days.
yeah, maybe. Well, maybe maybe I will start a company called AI. The name I'm gonna name it Crystal Ball.
Mm-hmm.
You
That's not a
never
bad
know.
idea.
Right. Yeah. So in the investment, there's I will say maybe the top three things I'm looking at it. Number one will be the team, will be the founders, will be the first CEO.
Mm-hmm.
Because I always holding a principle that ideas and the business model can pivot, but people won't change.
Mm-hmm.
So you heard from a lot of investors and say yes, a team, the founder and the CEO is most important. And then I myself I experienced that. I think that after all, the business operated by the person. So the human factor is really center of the business to be
Mm-hmm.
successful now. The same business model you give it to different team may be executed in so many different way and then leading to different results.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the second thing is I learned a lot from my fellow investors, angel investors, specifically in the TCA. They have an open arm. When I decide to jump into this world, they have an open arm
Mm-hmm.
welcome me into it. I learned a great deal from my TCA venture groups fellows. Um,
Mm-hmm.
One thing is the product market fit, because being an engineer and started from an engineer position, we always want to do more R&D. We want to make it best technology. We believe they're going to bring a benefit. However, what I learned in the business world is that yes, you may have best technology or solution in the world. However, there is market adoption, there is a customer's need, whether you meet those met needs or not. That is more critical than you have the best technology in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So the product market fit, that is really, really essential on top of the team that can execute the vision.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and to be honest with you, there's uh, um, sustainability over the hype. That's it. Recently, I kind of start to cope with the ideas and reflect to my own back to my own experience, and it start to show. Because the company doesn't need to always follow the latest trends. They say quantum AI, that there used to be crypto, Web3, or
Mm-hmm.
it used to be some other buzzwords, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
technologies. However, even the best opportunity actually lied in sometimes a very solid, profitable, scalable, sustainable business model by selling toilet paper, by selling other commodity as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I kind of wrap around the idea that the product market fits and find a great team to be able to execute the idea. That will be the things I'm looking, especially in the early stage of the starting up the business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these sound like some very core things, like you mentioned. Like I thought when you said, the business can change and the startup can pivot, but people don't change. Never thought about it that way. That's very interesting. But yes, thank you for that insight. Um, and hopefully this is also good feedback for founders when they consider what's really important and core to their businesses as well. Totally. But yeah, kind of going off of that same train of thought. I've asked this question to a couple of the other investors we've had on this series, so I definitely want to get
Mhm.
your take on it as well. Because at your current roles, chair of due diligence at TCA, um, you review over a dozen pitch decks and startups each month. And so from your experience after reviewing and looking at so many different businesses, what are some qualities of a memorable and effective pitch deck would make a business stand out to you?
Well, um, don't use AI.
Okay. But why?
But
Why?
yeah, well, yeah, in the kidding per se, but
Hmm.
you'll be surprised. When I was in the pre-screen, we did the data for the past 3 years that every month there's over 88 applicants just for the TCA venture group. I'm
Wow.
deeply involved with. And then there's more from the other VC or the friends or other network too. So there's a plenty of the pitch deck. And some of them is actually after you've seen so many, some of them you will be pick it up and say, this is what's generated by AI right away.
Mm,
Because there's no content, there's no soul in
mhm,
there. So what I'm looking to is actually a little bit currently the AI haven't been able to do that yet. It still need a human touch.
mhm,
Is that a well structured and a very coherent business plan? I'm not necessarily need to for a pitch deck. I'm looking for a business plan.
mhm,
The business plan will involve with a who going to do what by when. So there will be a time factor, which market to segment to get in, who going to play what role, and does they have the expertise to execute it, whatever vision or product or technology they're about to develop or
mhm,
apply, right? And one important thing is don't just describe that we have the greatest technology. We have a humongous market share. Put a number on that. How
mhm,
big is the market? What kind of improvement? 20%, 2 times, 10 times, put some number into that. Maybe I'm from the engineer, the background. I want to see some numbers, and then you justify the number, and then so I can follow you. So I think that is important and the key too, and then probably you can stand out and leave a better impression
mhm,
in this case. Yeah.
mhm. Wow. Yeah, um I wouldn't expect like such blatant use of AI for pitch decks because to me pitch decks are like, communication tools, right? It's a way for you to present yourself and what makes your company unique to investors. So I'm really surprised that, people would use those tools but without revising it and adding their swing on it. Is it
You'll be surprised, and then there's
Yeah.
a lot out there, and then of course those will be easily be weed out and rejected.
Mm-hmm.
I think that sometimes I got taught in some academia environments or accelerator or a mentor company. I always tell them that is that actually don't start the pitch deck. You should start it with a business plan.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you have a solid business plan, you're going to have a pitch deck,
Mm-hmm.
not the other way around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's ultimately what the deck is for, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh.
And also, if you have a business plan, you can go far on the investment side when you talk to investors. If you only have a pitch deck, you probably have the first meeting, a second meeting, and it's not going to go anywhere after
Mm-hmm.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, good things to keep in mind. Um, But yeah, thank you so much for that insight, especially from the investor sides of things. I know these are questions that founders always have, especially when they're looking to raise or getting prepared to pitch. So hopefully
Hmm.
these tips help someone out or, provide good words of caution. But I definitely wanted to talk to you about another aspect of your work, and that is
Okay.
the international collaboration that you've
Mm.
fostered and that you've been working on as an investor and a member of TCA, and a couple of other organizations as well. So, one of these associations is the TLA, or Taiwan Global Eastbound Association of Launching America. Um, I know it's kind of a long,
It's a
long
mouthful.
name,
Yeah, it's a
but it
mouthful.
makes
Yeah.
for a very nice acronym, actually. And you do serve as director of the association. So if you wouldn't mind filling us in on sort of what you do with them and what is the goal of the association.
Okay. Being originally from Taiwan, I'm come to US for my educations, and I was fortunate enough to stay here and have the opportunity to build my own career out, being part of the great one of the great nations and the greatest nation still in the world, and so right now I'm using the opportunity and almost like a privilege that I'd be able to help other people to accomplish the same thing too. And
Mhm.
of course, Taiwan, as well as a lot of the other Asian markets, has a remarkable innovations, hardworking process and operation side. And those will can be merged really well with the U.S. market and the need for the innovation and always looking for a way to expand the capability and the capability and the capacity things.
Mhm.
So I think there's a tremendous uh, um, collaboration, especially between the Asia where I come from and the U.S. And I see a business opportunity there too. Okay.
Mhm.
The TILA was initiated in Taiwan. It was an NGO organization. The goal was start to a few years back, even with all the geopolitical tension around the area,
Mhm.
that there was a group of us that actually working, thinking and working really hard, try to position Taiwan in a better um, in a global position wise, relationships. So there was an effort, conscious effort, try to link those innovation and the capability, like I say, and the capacity with U.S. market.
Mhm.
And by doing so, that since last year, we brought overall more than 30 startup company from Taiwan, and then help them to be able to land it, not only land it in US, specifically in Los Angeles, but be able to launch their business as well from Los Angeles into
Yeah, that's
the
amazing.
US
That's amazing.
market. Yeah. So this is something we continue to do. And in fact, this mid-May, we're going to have a similar event at the UCLA. And yeah, and there's a more even government representative from Taiwan. They will happen to be in town, and that's why we design the activity around that. So wait and see. I will tell everybody wait and see. We are bringing more innovations from Taiwan and Asia to the US market.
Wow, that is so cool and so exciting. I know a lot of our listeners, once we release this recording, are based out of LA, so keep your eye out for that. We can't wait to see what's upcoming for this year. Um, But you kind of touched on this in your answer, but I want to elaborate on it a little bit more. But why do you think it's important then for startup ecosystems to collaborate on this global scale? So, from your experience, Taiwan, LA, the Asian markets versus US markets, why is that sort of crossover very valuable? And what sorts of new opportunities can be found in international collaboration?
Okay, maybe this is a time I turn on my AI and answer your big questions for me.
No, I want to hear it from you.
Okay. That when we do things, we always start with a why. right? And then that's exactly you're asking why we want to do that. Of course, there are some people saying that globalization is dead because right now it's more nearshore or onshore. That globalization is dead. But I do believe that throughout my career, like I mentioned before, surround myself with the people work harder, smarter, and the more capable in the many different ways than myself and form a team, form a network, and then I believe that's where how I can grow
Mm-hmm.
better. And I do think that with the different cultures mixing and then also mindsets, they can create a more harmonic, a more global, more cohesive thinking, not just have a more like a bias or a narrow point of view. So if I want to pull a really pull back and really from the bigger picture, that's what it is. But however, to the reality is that the US is a huge market. There's an innovation globally everywhere. I mean, not just Asia, in Europe, in Africa, from the Mid East, South America, right? And everybody, there's a tremendous innovation everywhere. If one of the innovation can bring the good deeds to the American market and be commercially successful, why not? From the vision, from the mission aside, the business case is really what driving this possible, right? One of the markets, be able to reduce the cost, be able to increase the margins, and so on and so forth. So there are strategic partnerships can be formed that actually make the business sense, not just because we want to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really awesome. And it accomplishes so many different things. I feel like both increasing opportunity and, being able to like understand each other across shores, which is
Right.
really, really cool. So kind of diving into more tactical side of this, what are some recommendations or advice that you would give an international startup looking to enter the US market?
It's going to be tough.
Mm,
It's not going to be easy. I mean, the even the startup in the US is struggling. It's hard to find funding. You need to pivot, and you need to identify customer, acquire customer. I mean, there's the same thing. But imagine that you coming from a total different cultural background, knowledge, or sometimes not, but not often, language barrier. So that this is going to be even tougher, right? So if I want to give some suggestion to those company, I will say be prepared, right? And in fact, that's probably not enough. You probably need to be overly prepared before you step into the new markets. And that's the same apply for even US as a startup want to go to Asia to expand their market as well, right?
mhm,
Or globally, right? And expect that there's a cultural difference, there's a mindset difference, there's a priority difference, and that can all only overcome with the open mindset and communication. That there's no shortcut of such things,
mhm,
and with people's help, if you can identify what is the potential risk and be able to mitigate those risks, reduce the risk, de-risk, right? And I will say that will help any startup, even not the international startup, to find a better and a smoother path towards
mhm,
success. Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, and certainly there are associations like TILA that are there to help you get acclimated. Just a friendly plug. But yeah, that's super cool and great advice. We might have a couple international listeners, so hopefully they'll take this advice if they're looking to expand. But yeah, thank you so much for all of your input and the knowledge that you've shared. We're reaching the end of our time together, but I do have a couple last questions for you.
Okay.
Just some questions that will sort of tie together our whole conversation. So we've talked a lot about different markets, different ways to engage with startups, and of course, your extensive background. Um, and this is just so much experience distilled into knowledge that fuels your current projects and your current responsibilities. What would you say are some of the advantages of having so many different perspectives to draw upon? Why is it valuable to sort of collect these different experiences for yourself?
Um, Great questions. And I kind of position myself in the way that there's intersections with the technologies and then business and also the operation side. Um, um, I do think that the business is a complicated. I often, in joking ways, say that nonlinear, a set of a nonlinear differential equation that you cannot solve. So as soon as we realize it cannot be solved, so you may need to see a business or a case, a project from different angles, right?
Mhm.
So those people who know me that I usually if I went outdoor, I wear my hat. It's just not because I want to look cool. That is actually, it's cold. Okay, so that my experience allowed me to wear different hats. I can wear the hat as a technologist from the engineering point of view. What's the difficulty? What's R&D? How much you want to push? How to prioritize the task, right? And how to address the customer's need. Or I can wear a hat of the business executive and say, how the operation, how the business structure, the process I established within the business. How can you streamline that and then be more efficient? I
Mhm.
can put on operators heads on and look into the logistic supply chain, which is getting popular and popular every day now.
Mhm.
And then I also can put in investors from the investor point of view that want to make money out of the investment. So I'm going to demand certain things. I want to something get happens, and so I can have my investment return. And so from be able to wear different hats and seeing from different angle, I think that will help in the communications side of that, and be able to kind of share my point of view with a different type of the CEO, with a different type of the entrepreneur at a different stage of the business. And I often told them that there will be a one data point from many data points you should collect.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, like let's say, you're a founder
Mm.
but it's your first time starting a company, you have no idea what you're doing. Like I want to build this, but I don't know sales. I don't know like how to pitch. Or maybe even from the investor side, you want to get involved in an industry. You're coming from beauty and health and you want to get into like energy. It's a total leap, right?
Yeah.
Um, and a lot of founders and investors are navigating these decisions, trying to adapt to the constantly changing market and ecosystem. How would you advise those navigating changes on how to seek experiences that will help them find new opportunities to grow or learn?
Wow, this is a big questions,
This is
right?
why we're ending with this one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And like I say, we don't know what we don't know.
Mm,
Guess what? I can talk the talk and say we shall do A, we shall do B, we shall do C, right? And I'm also very, practical kind of guy
mhm,
too. Joke aside, that just watch YouTube.
mm,
If you want to get into some area that, trust me, they used to have a slogan and say we have an app for that, but nowadays there's a clip for that. Whatever knowledge you want to acquire is online, is on the internet, is in the video format. You don't need to even read. AI will summarize it for you. So there's a lots of tool nowadays you can use it to leverage. But trust me, those will only lead in to certain area, but it's not going to spoon feed you informations or force feed you that you digest become part of you, right? It's just so many information. It's like a huge buffet out there, and then you just still need, when there's a channel for you to easier to digest and take in, but you still need to digest and become that part of you. And I think the core, the soul we talk about, the core is really important. So stay curious, find joy. What is it? What's a joyful? What is a happiness? What motivate you? Be open, be prepared to all the challenges we talk about. That all be over prepared, be overly prepared, right? And at the end of the day is you find a purpose. You stay flexible, adaptable, and then you enjoy the journey, and there will be the first step to be a successful in the startup world. And there's so many successful examples, and there are also more in the not so successful past. But use those as a part of your DNA, make you stronger and build a better case in that sense. And that we can live with that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. And now I know what I'm gonna do after this interview. I'm gonna open a new tab and just start getting as much knowledge as I can off of YouTube. My
Right,
evening
right,
is set.
right,
Um,
right, right, right.
but yeah, in all seriousness, what a great way to end the conversation. Thank you so much, Min-Yi, for joining us, and for sharing your wisdom on these topics. You're
And share
hilarious,
my
by the
point of view.
way.
Share my point of view.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And you're so funny. And I love, the levity that you brought to so many of these answers, even though the questions were might have been a little bit difficult, but awesome stuff. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for your time.
hmm Yeah, and with that, we'll close off this session and we'll see you for our next interview. Thank you.